Streaming live from the 905, it's episode 4 of Here and There with Anwar Night. You're not supposed to expose that, Phil. You're supposed to keep them in wonder. You could tell it's a Canadian production. But yes, we are streaming live in the 905. How you doing? We're in the town of Oakville. Now, is it a city? Is it a town? We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on episode 4 of Here and There. My name is Anwar Knight. So nice to have your company today. I hope things are well. We're at finally Friday. Do we do a happy dance? I think we do. With lots of beautiful sunshine. And you know, I can't believe they're now saying we're in wave 3 of COVID. So it seems never ending. But I don't want to talk, I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on, let's just forget about all the other stuff going on and have some fun here for the next half hour as we stream live in the West End, in a beautiful spot here. Some of you may have been here. This is officially the town of Oakville, and I want to say almost there is a debate, but it's not a real official debate because the municipality's official name is in fact the town of Oakville. But if you look at the attributes, the amenities here, I mean, it certainly meets the benchmark of it being a city. You know, it has over 100,000 people, double that. It has all the amenities in the region, but it is still known as the town of Oakville. In fact, this is the largest town in the province. And it's interesting, you know, I was doing some reading, the official mayor, Rob Burton, and he was doing an article, I think it was in Maclean's magazine. He had a great quote, and he said, Oakville is a city that calls itself a town, but acts like a village. And I think there's some real truth to that because it's undeniable the charm that is here in the town of Oakville. It is really a beautiful spot here. So maybe this may be a spot that you want to visit at some point. Certainly, you know, as the warmer weather starts to move in fact, it's going to be a beautiful next few days. The weekend is spectacular with nice values. But what's here, what I wanted to share with you here is some of the maritime history. A real amazing story that goes on here. This, by the way, is 16 Mile Creek. So this would run all the way up to the Niagara Escarpment, flows through Milton, Oakville, and of course out to the lake here. And this is really a magic spot. And not only for those who come now and visit it, but also, you know, over 200 years ago, almost 200 years ago, William Chisholm, he came here. He was known as the father of Oakville. And he bought almost 1,000 acres here, all right? So 960 acres. And he found this spot. This was his magic spot. One, because it had certainly the 16 Mile Creek. He was doing some mills. But also because he created a shipyard here, a port. In fact, this area, this was the first port that was constructed by an individual. And this, by the way, it's 6 generations of Chisholms lived here, and you can see the home. It's a beautiful home here, and it is now a museum known as Ercles Estate. But I'm going to walk down through the garden here, and we'll go for a little bit of a tour. There's a couple of things I wanted to point out. And you know, what's really interesting is that you could be in a place in your own town and you've driven by it, you know, hundreds of times, and you never knew the story behind it. And that's what really fascinates me. So you can imagine here, you know, once the real summer growing season gets underway, this would just be just amazing, full of color. And that's what the town does as we walk through here. So we're streaming live, episode 4 of Here and There. I'm Anwar Knight, your host. It's a privilege to have your company. And this is the town of Oakville. And we mentioned about William Chisholm, you know, almost 2 centuries ago. And it leads me to my AKQ this morning, and that is the Anwar Knight query. So I need your help with this. What would be the era that you would like to go and visit? And maybe it's only, you know, decades ago. I don't know. But think about that. What era would you like to visit or revisit? I say visit because my choice is something that's, you know, actually in the 1800s. I would love to go back, probably the later 1800s. The horse wagon, you know, the big horse walking through the town, Little House on the Prairie sort of scene. Now, that being said, of course, we want to bypass cholera and scarlet fever and that sort of thing. But in this make-believe, all the good stuff, I'm just fascinated, and I don't know what it is. In part, it might even just be the sound of the horse and that wagon, the clanging of the metal. I just think it's really cool. So that would be my answer. What would be the era that you'd like to repeat? That's the AKQ today, the Anwar Night Query. Phil, on camera today, what era would you go to?
Probably the heyday of television. For me, the 80s,
Heyday of television. Now, some may argue that wasn't the heyday of TV. I don't know. But true to his core, that's why he's in the business that he's in. Interesting. Vern, era, the best era you'd like to revisit, and you've had many.
1960s.
1960s?
Skipping school and playing on the Credit River.
Boy, he get good detail. He says 60s, skipping school and playing on the Credit River. Well, that's interesting. So that's the question we have for you. What era would you like to visit? Now, you can see here already we're starting to incorporate, from old to new. So this is where obviously a lot of boats are still put into this water this day. And that's sort of a part of the maritime history that continues in this region. Already we're starting to feel the wind now. We're getting close to the lake. If it starts to get too windy, Phil will let me know and I'll just turn my back. I've got my fuzzy head on the mic here. Is it getting a little windy now or you're good? Okay. So, when he created the shipyard here, this was just full of activity. It was really quite something. In fact, back in the day, there were many vessels that sort of got their debut launch here. So first of all, look at this beautiful scene. Phil's going to pan. Oh my goodness, there's a guy in there. He's doing, I don't want to say surfing, but is that what it's called again? What do you do when you go with the wind? But he doesn't have he must be just surfing actually, because there is no parachute sort of thing. It just caught me off guard. I don't know if you can see his head bobbing out there. And by the way, the lake, I checked, the lake is sitting at about 3.4 degrees, which technically is just a smidge warmer than the norm, but not warm enough for me to go in it. But there he is. Can you see him, Phil? It'll be hard to see on the phone, but he's straight down there. And he's gone surfing, I guess, with that wind. Wow, holy smokes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, first of all, how beautiful this is. But here you can see the pier out. So a lot of people come here for strolls. Now, right now, technically, it's closed off because of COVID restrictions. But what's interesting, when we talk about the maritime history, there were also, lighthouses here. An original lighthouse stood very close to here. And that lighthouse stood there for 50 years. It was quite something until a major storm happened. That was in 1886, so 1886. And it was the blizzard of 86. And it happened in April. So it was such an intense storm. Some areas of the Great Lakes Basin had 10 to 40 centimeters of snow in April. And it demolished it. It washed away. Then they rebuilt another one. And that survived for some point before it started to get also impacted by the weather. And they actually salvaged that. It's not very far from here. It's now historical. So the new one, relatively new, is really just a sewer pipe that's filled with concrete. And it'll sit there for a long time. And certainly it's still needed because you have, boats that come through here. But Chisholm, who had the shipyard, he had some amazing vessels here. And I want to get the name correct. The initial one was the Constitution. And it was the largest steamboat at the time, 150 tons, 133 feet long, and it carried 51 passengers. And it was launched here. So it was part passenger and cargo service. And it started here, and it moved all the way through, traveled Hamilton, Oakville, and then the town of York, which was Toronto. And eventually it even went to Rochester, New York. So really kind of interesting. And you know what amazes me is that originally this whole area here, this of course wasn't a park. This was actually, just be careful, Phil, there's someone behind you so you don't trip. Hi, how are you? Great, thanks. So this wasn't a park back then. This was actually a stockyard. This is where they put the cordwood. So they needed for the steamships. So this was held neatly here, which is kind of interesting. Now you can see the path here. This is known as the Homecoming Trail here in Oakville. And it's all a part of the greater trail system, which in fact is the Great Lakes Trail. And that spans literally thousands of kilometers. It's like 3,600 kilometers, and it connects over 100 communities across the area. Now, this section, the Oakville and Mississauga section, connects about 22 parks. So it's a beautiful run. And Phil, I don't know if you could just sort of show all the way down. I mean, you can see it, and there's very types of path that your feet would be on. Some would be gravel, some would be paved, but it's quite something. And the whole Great Water Lakes Front Trail, again, is 3,600 kilometers. But this is a very popular spot. So as we continue our little journey here, we're going to take a look up this hill. This is where a lot of people come with their kids, and understandably so, because they come for the swing set and to have some fun and connect with nature. And we're going to get into now the AKQ, though, with you. And we're asking you, what's the era that you'd like to go back to? And Janet says the early 1900s, to see the steamships and railroads and my ancestors on Spain. Well, that's interesting. I think that would be kind of cool. There would be a lot of different connections for some people, depending on the year that you go. John Shepard saying, great site today. Well, thank you very much for that. And Lois says it's nice to know the history. And howdy from Muskoka. All right, Susan, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us. By the way, if you're new to the program, let me know. Put a little asterisk in new. I'd love to know some of the new people that are joining us. And Denise is saying the waves are beautiful. They really are. I mean, with that sun, it is just a spectacular scene today. Look at that. Now, I have to tell you, it is a little cooler than I expect. You're feeling that wind, but really is a spectacular day. Donna's saying the 50s, so is Ron. The 50s and 60s when the cars were cool. Not so cool now, are they? And then Victoria's saying the groovy 60s and 70s. Diane says again the 1800s, Little House in the Prairie. I'm with you. Diane also saying another great show. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Rena is saying horse and buggy because you love horses. I'm with you. There's something about it. That's for sure. Bert, you're saying, is that 1066 in England? Boy, you're going way back. Rob is saying pro-European settlement. I'd love to see what Canada looked like before development. Yeah, that's true. That would be kind of cool. And Shauna is new. Welcome to the program. Karen says she would like to go from Schitt's Creek. Well, good for you. Maybe Dan and Eugene are around. I don't know. But Linda's also saying horse and buggy, sort of the Little House in the Prairie days. Kristen is saying back in the 1800s to see the great flocks of passenger pigeons. Well, that's interesting. You know, they still do passenger pigeons to this day. Some are big collectors, and that'd be something that you may want to explore. MG is saying, it's good to see you. Gail is saying, love the park, peaceful place to go, love the history. Sue Taylor is new, and she loves it. Well, loves the program. Glad to hear that. Yeah, we stream every Friday at noon here on my Facebook page. And with one exception, likely no Good Friday show. But we do appreciate everybody's support. And I promise you, we're working on trying to get the best technology so we can get not only audio and video, but also graphics. We're working on that. This is going to really grow, and it's growing only with your support. So I do appreciate that. Show me the thumbs up. Show me the hearts. You know, when it comes to any digital medium, especially on Facebook, that's the only really way it can grow, because it's the algorithms. They want to see that there's some interaction, and then ultimately we can get some sponsors. So I do appreciate that. If you like what we're doing, show me some thumbs, some hearts, and send in your comments. And we're getting lots of them. Thank you so much, guys. Janice is joining us from Owen Sound. You got snow still in Owen Sound? I'm curious. You know, we had a teleconference with another crew out in Montreal, northern Montreal, and they have lots of snow still on the ground. You'd have to look pretty hard to find some snow here. And as is saying, the late 1800 with blacksmiths. Yeah, you bet. Barbara's saying her 19-year-old daughter is saying the Roaring 20s. Vern, you were there in the rowing. There you go. And Jillian is new from Stony Creek. We're going to continue down this way, and I want to show you a couple of other things. So Jackie is saying Scarborough would be nice in the early 1900s. I guess. The 60s. And Sandra's enjoying the show. So is Diane. Now, Pat, good afternoon from Tyendinaga. Am I saying that right? I've never heard of that place. Wonderful. Well, it's good to have you with us. And Lenora is saying, love Oakville and your show. Gail is saying, going back to the 1800s. Sarah, you're very kind. She says, I'm awesome. And Marie Traversa is saying, love what I'm doing. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And Shauna is saying, come to Belleville. You know what? When the weather gets better, there's a very strong possibility we're going to try to go east and west without question. And Morgan is joining the show, so is Kimberly. And Ian is joining us from Port Hope. Ian, I know you follow me on Twitter. I do appreciate that. You can follow me, by the way, at Anwar Knight on Instagram and Twitter as well. And, so Kristen is telling us passenger pigeons are extinct now. They were hunted to extinction. The last bird died in 1914. At one point, they were the most abundant bird in North America. Well, that's interesting because I did read an article that there are still some people that still try to do that. But that's interesting. I'm not doubting it. I'm going to have to check into that. And Shirley is saying most of the snow melted here and then Severance out in the east. Sandra's enjoying the show. And Marilyn says, finally able to join us from Lakehurst, Ontario. Loves the outdoor tours and all the information. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have some fun. We're trying to learn and discover together. And we're discovering this spot here. Now, it doesn't look so impressive. I agree. It just looks like a building and it's closed up. And that's mainly because of COVID restrictions that they have closed this down. It is a museum. But this was, in fact, Oakville's very first post office. Now, I should point out that this was originally located a little bit further north. So this was on the southwest corner of Lakeshore and Navy Street. And of course, William Chisholm, he was the postmaster. So this was the original post office. And, you have to think about back in the day, the postal service was pretty weak. And of course, it was run through Britain, right? And it would come not only by horse and wagon, but again, the proximity of the water. So you can see the lake is so close, the steamships would come and they would also deliver some mail. And it was the Royal Mail operated by the British government. It was very expensive. And, comparing to today, it was very poor. But the reason why it was poor, because there was a lot of stealing. Some people would send some money, to other family, and it would never get there. But it's interesting that this was the structure. So once COVID is completely gone, this may be something else you want to put on the list for your kids or grandkids to come in, because they do some, some neat little arts and crafts sort of tying in the theme here. But it floors me that this is the original structure. And they've moved it here. So yet another thing that you can look and explore. Very quickly, we're going to take a look at Christina Stevens. Christina Stevens is watching out from Vancouver Island, and she said, you know what I'm going to say about Canada Post? Yes, I do. And I should point out, we've launched a new thing. I do the podcast, Big Blue Marble, at bigbluemarble.earth about our changing planet. And a new tangent of that is something called the Blue Files Extended Edition. So that's a YouTube feature. And so it's video and audio. And we do sort of a round table, a cooler chat of 3 or 4 stories about our changing planet and how it sort of weaves into connecting into our lives. Christina is co-hosting that with me. So be sure to check it out. We're actually going to post up another edition. I'm hoping to do it later today. And you can find it on my YouTube channel. So lots of different things going on. Yes, Denise is saying, how cool is it that the building is still standing? And that's what I think. It's about these little historical little places, these little aspects of communities, which are really intriguing. And I think, far too often we're in a rush world. Sometimes you just got to catch your breath and reconnect. And this is certainly a great spot to do with it. I'm going to hop on the gazebo. Another historical aspect here. Now, the original one, they say, dates back to 1908, and it was known back then where it was sitting as the Oakville Fairground. What happened is that they refurbished this, so this is now very sturdy, of course. But again, neat, you know? You don't see stuff like this. And the thing is, again, once COVID is over, but they've done it before, sometimes they do performances here. So you can imagine coming out with a blanket, maybe a little bit of a picnic, and just sitting here, enjoying by the water, and then you have a performance on the band. Look, there's the surfer, and he's running. You know why he's running? Because he's cold. He's freezing, and he's thinking, what the heck was I thinking? Too cold! Was it too cold? Yeah, eh? Yeah, you see? So he's running back in. I'd be running too, you know? He thought it was a great idea. He's going to go out there. I'm going to do the waves. Yeah, no thanks. Not for me. Not for me at all. Okay, so a couple more things before we wrap up here. Donna says, am I still doing weather on CTV? No. They cleaned out. They let go over 200 people. I'm not going to lie to you. Over 210 people, in fact, were let go about a month ago. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I think it's starting to break down the industry. You know, people rely on news, they rely on weather, they rely on credibility, and it is starting to crumble now. But I'm not going to focus on that. We're going to do some new things, new exciting things, and this is one of those projects. So I appreciate you joining us here. And I want to thank everybody for still sending in so many different comments here. Oh, Tracy says your fans love you. You're very kind. You guys have been really kind, so I do appreciate that. And we're going to continue to grow this, guys. That's what we're going to do. So we stream live every Friday. And if you have suggestions on a place you'd like to go and visit, by all means, let me know. Give me some suggestions. We'll see if we can get the signal there, and we can have some fun and explore and learn together. So we're going to get set to wrap it up. I want to say thank you again for joining me as we stream live in the town of Oakville. Before we wrap up, I want to show you one more scene of the water. I'm going to come down there because, you know, wherever you happen to be watching from, I'm not sure what you're you may have as beautiful of a scene, even better. But for those who don't, on a Friday, I want you to just take a look at this. So important to get out and to connect with nature, appreciate what we have. Let's not always be in a rush. So Phil, let's show everybody here. Look at the way the sun goes off the lake. And that's what's important. Take a bit of a break, connect with nature. It'll do wonders for your spirit. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to have your company each and every Friday. So on that note, my friends, I wish you a wonderful weekend. We're going to see double digits Saturday and Sunday. It'll be warm. It really feels like spring. Get outdoors, enjoy, and stay safe. And we'll talk to you soon, guys. Remember, bigbluemarble.earth. Show me some more hearts. Show me some thumbs up. And share it. And we'll see you next week, guys. And where will I be next week? Well, as the saying goes, here and there. Take care, guys.